1, 2, 3. Hello good people, it's the Angry Australian here. So, I've just heard news that Australia is going to build 1.2 million homes over the next 5 years. Well, let's just call bullshit. Let me tell you, during this time also, there's going to be about probably 5 or 7 million new people settling in Australia because the fucking moron Australians voted in the Labor Party again. And I mean, Liberals are no better anymore. I don't care anymore. Liberal, Labor, you're the same. You're both parasites in the same bowel. I'm an Australian citizen. I've been educated in Australia. And for 20 plus years I've lived overseas. But I'm still an Australian. In my soul. I can tell. And when I meet other Australians, I can immediately understand them in ways that I can't understand, say, Americans or non-Europeans from different countries. Pakistan, India, many people from Ghana, Nigeria. Not that I don't like them, of course I do. I think they're fantastic. But with an Australian, I have this affinity. We have something. Maybe it's called culture. But then again, white people aren't supposed to have culture, right? Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm an Australian and I can't afford to go to my own country. I'm about to run out of money and I can't go back to my home country and I don't want to be homeless. That's the only option for me if I return to Australia, but I'm about to run out of money, so I have nowhere to go and I'm going to have to go back to Australia, or I have to turn my lights off. And I think that I'm leading down that I have to do that. There's no choice for me, right? There's no choice. But when does the Australian government stop and think? Does it not see what's happening in Europe? Do the Europeans not think we're importing all these people? We're importing the intifada into our own nation. What's going to happen? I mean, these people they cannot assimilate. Okay, they are genetically predispositioned to never assimilate into liberal Western European culture and society and the traits and the systems of rules and the understanding and the laws we have and the legal system. These don't make any sense to them, and they never will, because they don't assimilate. They form their own ghettos, and that's how it ends up. Now, Australia, Europe, mostly Judeo-Christian. We can get along with each other quite well. But there seems to be, overwhelmingly, this push to go radical left-wing lunaticism. This fanaticism on the left that, you can't question migration, you're a racist. Or you're a white supremacist. That word has lost all meaning now. But what is the end game? I mean, everybody has to ask themselves, what is the end game to this idiocracy? Well, it's pretty easy when you read history what happens. In times where the governments go completely batshit crazy, start letting everybody in. People that don't assimilate and have no respect. Look at all the machete attacks in Melbourne. Who's doing them? Why are they doing it? You're going to ban knives now too. We're going to be left with plastic knives. What's going to happen to the farmers, the cane farmers? Out in the bush, who take machetes with them? Are you going to ban them too? When I lived in the bush in Australia, in the 90s, we had to go down to turn the bore switch to get water. And there were wild animals. We had to take a rifle and we took a machete. Because you never knew when, a fox was going to come. You just had to shoot it. And if you shot it and it was still coming at you, well, you got your machete. That's throughout Australia. What, you're going to have separate rules for some people? Well, it's going to get batshit crazy, we know this. But I'll tell you what's going to happen, everybody. Basically, COVID showed us what it's going to be like. Just to let you know, I lost everything during COVID. I was about to be the first Australian to ever run a vocational college in Japan in my own name, licensed to me, registered to me, running an Australian government accredited courses I should say, more than one. I went to the Australian Embassy, I went to, the Australian Austrade. They asked if they could help. They didn't help, they did nothing. They did fuck all for me. The only thing they told me is $400 an hour, we'll do promotion, marketing and research. I'm like, well, you know I'm poor, I don't have that. That's the only thing, because they only wanted big universities that got a lot of taxpayer funded money to walk into their building. Give them that $400 an hour they wanted. They didn't want to do anything for me. And during COVID, when I started to lose everything, I was trying to get help, and they did not care. They didn't care about me being an Australian, being the first to do something in a totally advanced country. They didn't care. A country where Australia has lost student enrolments. Less Japanese going to Australia to study. Austrade wrote a fucking report that they wanted the courses that I had the ability, the licensing and accreditation to bring to Japan. They wrote a fucking report that they wanted them. And I go, here it is. They didn't give a fuck. And somebody in that, I think his name was Sharp. I can't remember his first name. May have been David. May have been the same as me, David Sharp. I can't remember. He told me, look. We wanted a big university with $250,000 to spend to come in. Then we would help them because they would give us $250,000. I realized, oh, it's a scam. To get taxpayer money from a public university to spend on Austrade so you get big fat bonuses. He's like, you're working it out. He goes, you got it. Yeah, sorry mate, we can't do anything. It's like, well, at least you were honest. You're a scumbag. You're a parasitic, degenerate, maggot scumbag, but thanks for being honest. But, yeah, that's where I lost all my money. And don't you ever just think, as an Australian, somebody should be there to help? No, because fuck you, Australian. The new migrant coming who will not assimilate. And yes, we've had 200,000 South African farmers come in over the last few years, and I've got no problem with them because they believe the same value. They have the same values and principles as Australians overall. Okay? In particular, us European Australians. And I'm not against the Indigenous Australians. I love them all the same. But our systems of our rules, our laws, our culture, the dominant culture, they're going to accept. But our government and the fucking radical left-wing lunatics and Greens hate them because they're white. Okay, sure. The racists. The racists always project their racism onto others, right? That's why the Democratic Party is the racist party. When you look at what they've always historically done, they're the racists. The Republican Party was practically started by black people who just wanted to be free. But I don't understand why you would even say we're going to build 1.2 million homes when not one Australian is going to benefit from it. Who the fuck votes for these degenerate maggot parasites? What are you going to get? What is Australia? How is Australia going to benefit? I'm just thinking, who the fuck is making these rules? Who is making these policies? What is the objective? There is something seriously sick in my nation when I cannot go back because the minute I land, I need medicine every day. I won't be able to get it, and I will be homeless. Even though I'm trying to build a business, I can't because I'm spending the money now to survive. That money was I was supposed to be saving towards starting my own business. Now I can't do. I'm being stripped, and yet my government couldn't give a fuck I exist. In fact, they more or less have told me that anyway. When I went and tried to get help from Austrac, they said we just couldn't care less. There was one question that Austrac I remember: are you Indigenous? That was one real question they asked me. I said no. I said, if you were going to blow a didgeridoo, we might be able to give you some money. Maybe that's what they were going to say. I don't know. And I'll tell you what, if an Aboriginal Australian wants to go over to Japan and get funding for the didgeridoo music, go for it. I reckon that would be fucking awesome. But I'll tell you what, as someone who's lost everything and is continually losing and eventually have to switch the lights off, right? Very shortly. It's not long. I am completely and utterly fucking flabbergasted by my government and the decisions being made and how they work against Australians. And nobody seems to chin check these motherfuckers. It's like they just can do whatever they want. Because they get re-elected. Because Peter Dutton was a fucking dickhead anyway. He was like, what are you going to do about this? Get some fucking balls. Be Donald Trump. Because if you're not going to be Donald Trump, just fuck off. Make Australia great again. How about that one? Make Australians feel great again. Make them feel proud. Instead of feeling fucking frustrated and exhausted from the bullshit going on. But it just doesn't seem like any... What is the end game here? Anthony Albanese, dickhead in chief. What's the end game? I tell you what, it's an authoritarian, draconian police state like we had during COVID, where we're going to need passports just to leave our homes. How the fuck, as a politician, you think that's okay? Because that's the only thing I can think of that's going on. We're just not going to be able to move. Fuck, why? Fucking explain it. But you won't, dog, because I tell you what, that is disrespectful to dogs. Dogs are great. Anthony Albanese is a degenerate parasite. He's a fucking worm. He's lower than a worm. Worm is useful. Albanese is a lying dog. Lying, degenerate parasite. I should never call Albanese a dog again. He's a degenerate parasite. Why would you want that? And yet, that is where it's leading to. And homelessness. What are you planning to do to us, Anthony Albanese? What are you planning to do? That's what I want to know. Seems like a sick game you're playing. And we're just all your little play pieces. The whole Australian government. We need one nation across the board. I don't care about any other political party. Give me one nation. Oh, and the last time I was in Australia, if you want to call one nation racists, I met a whole bunch of Vietnamese that lived in Australia for many, many years. They all went and voted one nation. And I was like, why is that? They go, we were the original boat people when we were getting shot at and killed. But now it's like anybody can get here as long as they are anti-Australian. As long as they do not accept and assimilate into Australian culture and society, they can get here. But anybody that wants to assimilate and be a true Australian, it's difficult still. Why? And I remember them saying that exactly. They said, where we live, we've seen people come in and we can't even walk with them. We can't even be near them because they get aggressive. And we can't say, because they're the chosen people, the 6-letter word. MU something, SL, I don't know, something. But I'm like, wow, that sounds horrible. They go, yeah, but that is what is being brought in. That's why we're going to vote one nation. We want people to come here like us, who loved the fact that we got to here and respect the country. But our politicians don't even do that. They don't give a fuck about Australians. What the fuck is the end game, Anthony Albanese? Tell me right now. But you won't, because you know that the end game is fucking scary. It's fucking draconian. It's fucking authoritarian. It's a police state. You darn well know it, and that's why you will never address an Australian face to face, because you're a fucking coward and you're being led by non-Australians. But who exactly? Fuck you, Anthony Albanese. No, fuck you, Labor. Fuck you, Liberals. Fuck you. Fuck you all. You're all degenerate parasites. The whole lot of you. You make me sick.